Hello, everybody. I am your host for today's episode of Buckham Podcast. You can call me Visionary, Mazda Mims, or Braden. Now, because we do not have a game this week, I thought it would be appropriate to have the Broncos midseason or bye week awards, whichever you'd like to call it, because this team is standing at a 9-2 record with impressive showings from both sides at the balls at various points of the season. We have about 12 awards to get to, and I think everybody will like them. Now, we do have one negative award to start out with, and that is the Womp Womp Award. This award is somebody that I appreciate what you've done for the team this season, but frankly, I would like to not see you again on this team. If I do see you again on this team next season, I am going to be very concerned. That is none other than Luke Wattenberg. Now, Luke Wattenberg has been great in the past. He's led up 0 sacks on about 400 plus snaps. The problem is he's been very abysmal in the running game. And there's been a lot of plays where he's almost blown up everything, whether it be a high snap or running into Bo Nix because he got bull rushed. That is something that can kill drives. And frankly, we are lucky it has not killed a drive yet. So, Luke Wattenberg, I thank you what you've done, but please do not come back next season. That is my Womp Womp Award. Now, next, we are getting to the Blank Check Award. This is somebody who, if I am George Patton, when it comes time to give out contracts, I am just writing, I am handing them a check and saying, put down whatever you want. We have Walmart money. And frankly, is it a surprise who I'm going to put on this? It's Vance Joseph. This defense, we thought this defense was amazing last year. The defense this year has blown that out of the waters. Just to give you an example, the Broncos in 2015, which was one of their best defenses, had about 45 sacks at this week last season. We have 49. 49 sacks, on pace to break the record. Does that go to the defensive players? Of course. But the man, the myth, the legend, Vance Joseph, who was run out of Denver not too long ago, has come back and not only redeemed his name, but has made me forget about his head coaching seasons. So, Vance Joseph, congratulations. You are my blank check award winner. And I pray to God you come back next season because I am kind of scared if you don't. Now, getting to the next award is the Peak Male Performance Award. This is the big guy, the one that gets into the dirt, the trenches, and makes sure he does everything he's supposed to. And he is the peak male of the team. And that is somebody who was almost one of the biggest bust picks, you could argue. Garrett Bowles. I think we need to go. If we had time, if we weren't doing an award show, I would go in to just the lows, and then the highs of this man. This man was really hated by Broncos country, and he deserved it. He was a first round pick, and he was playing like a fourth rounder. He was not playing very good. But then he grew. He obviously had Mike Munchak. But even with Mike Munchak, I don't think anybody saw him living up to this. He is 33 and playing his best season. He is outplaying Quinn Miernes, and I know Quinn Miernes, he's having a bit of a sickness that we don't know much about, but even then, Garrett Bowles is just he has defended Bo Nix with his life. And there's just not much you can ask for with that. That's all you want from your blindside tackle. And I think he's given more than just enough. So, Garrett Bowles, you are my peak male performance winner. Now we have the Unsung Hero Awards. I say awards But really, no matter the amount, it would go to the same man. Broncos country loves him, but that's it. I never see the national media talking about him, except maybe one or two people. He's another one that could have won the blank check award if Vance Joseph was not who Vance Joseph is. John Franklin Myers, I don't know what people expected of you when we got you for that 6th round pick, but I know it's blown everybody out of the waters. He all but gets to the quarterback with when they have the ball in their hands. There's so many mouths to feed when it comes to sacks that not everybody's going to have a huge sack number, but he gives that quarterback hell when he is in the pocket, and he is one of the four that does not let team run the ball. I pray we see John Franklin Myers on this team next year because I'm worried what this defense. I'm not gonna say the defense will go from best to worst, but I think you could see a huge drop in production if we do not have John Franklin Myers. JFM, you are my unsung hero, and I pray to see you back next season. Now, next, we have the F Preseason Award. This goes to a man who was drafted, and then in preseason, people were like, wow, we wasted a draft pick on this guy? Oh my god, he's terrible. And now you could argue he is one of the most consistent players on this team. And it goes to somebody with a killer mustache. Jeremy Crawshaw is the winner of the F Preseason Award. Now, you get a lot of flack when you draft a special teams unit type of player because those are usually the undrafted free agents. Those are usually the guys get who don't get that draft day call. But Jeremy Crawshaw was one of them. And in preseason, people were not happy. Like, we could have gotten somebody else. We could have signed this exact same guy after the draft. But the Broncos, they picked him, and now he has been killing it. He's had one game where he wasn't up to standard, and that was a game where, frankly, there was nobody good except the other team's punter. I mean, Jeremy Crawshaw has shown that, yeah, he should have been a draft pick. And there's a lot of teams with punters that are like, dang, maybe we should have. Maybe instead of drafting a guy that's not even on the team, maybe we should have picked up Jeremy Crawshaw. But I'm glad they didn't. Jeremy Crawshaw, you are my F preseason award. Now we're getting back into a little bit of negative. This goes to somebody who you just expected more of. Somebody that, you know, I wish you made the jump. I thought you were going to be somebody, and so far you have not. That goes to nobody. I'm not going to say that this team is star-studded, 99 overalls, everywhere on the team. But I really think the team, one way or another, has shown improvement. Maybe not as much as you would like from some players, but not enough for me to call you out and say, "Hey, step it up." I've appreciate the growth I've seen. I hope it continues. I hope it doesn't just stay stagnant or just go up a bit. But there's nobody that says, "Dang, I really wish he made a jump." Because we still have a ton of young players on this team, and it doesn't necessarily take just a year to say, "All right, I'm a rookie. Now I'm the best in the league." It takes time for some people. It can take up to 4 years for some players. So I'm not gonna call anybody a bust, and I'm not gonna say, "Hey, you are the least improved player on this team." But now we get to most improved. And if you thought the least improved was a shocker, here's a real shocker for you. If I didn't explain why this person won this award, I think a lot of people would call me an idiot. But I think when I do explain this, people will call me a genius. This is somebody that was one of the best players on this team last year. You're like, right, he's going to be a top 5 player for us. And not only has he been a top 5 player for us again, He's shown a massive jump when you thought he couldn't. My winner of most improved goes to Nick Bonito. Nick Bonito, you were a, a monster last year. Everybody knew that you were somebody to look out for. But I don't think anybody expected the jump we saw from that we have seen. You've gone from annihilating quarterbacks to annihilating run games, annihilating tackles, annihilating quarterbacks as well. Nick Bonito is my most improved, not because he needed to improve, but because he did somehow. You could have asked me, said, Nick Bonito is going to look like a top 5 edge talent, and I would have believed you. But I don't think I would have believed you if you said he's also going to look like a top 5 run threat talent. He's going to look like one of the best at takeoffs on the line. He looks like a young Von Miller, and I am loving every second of it. Now we get to the best awards. The awards that every team has. Those were fun. Those were, yeah, those guys needed credit. But these are the main awards. My offensive player of the team goes to somebody that made this offense dynamic. Goes to somebody who I'm sad we're not going to see anymore. Somebody who's had his season taken away from him. J.K. Dobbins, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people want to go, oh, he's injury prone. We should have expected this. Injury prone doesn't take away from a hip drop tackle, which is what it was. But before that hip drop tackle, J.K. Dobbins was a top 5 in rushing yards. J.K. Dobbins was one of, if not the best, at looking through the tackles and finding the gap and just breaking off a 5-yard run at least. J.K. Dobbins, you will not be my offensive player of the team at the end of the season, but you dang sure are my offensive player of the team so far. My defensive player of the team goes to somebody who I was excited for when we signed. But oh my god, the excitement just didn't live up to what he's done. Talanoa Hufanga has proven why he earned a team captain patch on his jersey, and he's proven why I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up with the green dot next season. Hufanga, he's 25. He's been injured a lot in his career, which is probably why the 49ers were saying, I'm sorry to see you go. You had the Brock Purdy contract, but when you came down to it, Hufanga was a guy who was visiting the team doctor a lot. And so Broncos fans were right to be skeptical, say, will this guy stay with us this entire season? But my God, he's been a dog. He's been everywhere. He is, you want to talk about offensive joker? I don't care about offensive joker. We have seen Hufanga line up on the edge, linebacker, safety, corner, as the nickel. He's been everywhere. He's been the team. He's been the defensive player of the team, and he's probably going to be the defensive player of the team at the end of the year. He's been a dog. Now, I do got a Christmas present coming for him, which is a jug machine. But as soon as he lands on that interception problem, oh, he's going to be a monster. Now, finally, we have the award that really is the only award that people care about. The MVP of this team. Before I go into that, I need to tell you a story about a guy who, after week 2, people were done with. People were asking questions. Why do we pay this guy? What purpose does he serve on this team? But since then, he has won 2 He's won a Player of the Week award and a Player of the Month award and has won us 4, 5 games. My MVP of this team is a certain Big Nuts Lutz. Will Lutz has gone from missing a chip shot field goal in the Colts game that would have won us the game. Even if we still hit the leverage penalty, we wouldn't have hit the leverage penalty because the Colts couldn't go for a kick. It would have been, I don't remember the score, but if he hit it, the game would have been over. But since then, he has gone from being the final scorer of the game to hitting field goals at the last second that if he missed would have won us the game. And he's also made so many 50 plus yarders that a lot of teams would be going, "Oh, I don't trust this." And if it was the Chargers game, the game after the Colts game, you wouldn't have trusted Will Lutz. But now you do because he has rejuvenated himself. I don't know if that Colts game was a wake-up call, but it worked because congratulations, Will Lutz. You are my team MVP. And that is all the awards Whoa, what's going on? My cursor's acting up. But I don't have an award, but I do. Because with the Denver Broncos, you can't not say this guy. The final award is the PS2 award. And what a shocker. It goes to the Defensive Player of the Year, PS2. Even if he's not the team MVP, even if he's not the defensive player of the team, you have to recognize him. He is the best corner in football, without a doubt. He's one of the best defensive players in football, without a doubt. And he's done something that not a lot of people do at corner, which is win Defensive Player of the Year. So, PS2, what a shocker. You've won the PS2 award. And that is my final award for this session. Before we end off, I just want to say I've been amazed by what this team has done. If you told me we would be 9-2 after at our bye week, including beating the Super Bowl champs, the Eagles, the Super Bowl loser, the Chiefs, and we would orchestrate one of the best fourth quarter comebacks in regular season history, I would have said I wish because I didn't see that happening. But we've done it. And I'm so thankful that we've done it. And I think this team's going to go far. I don't know if we'll win the Super Bowl. I'd like to. But I know we're going to go far. And with that, I'd like to end today's session. But don't forget, if you're not with us, if you're somebody against us, buck you. And buck everybody else. Thank you for watching.